Can you hear me? I think you can. Hello everybody, I am going to be doing a live reading of Awakened Evil, and I'm just so excited. So, let's see. We are on chapter 3 because it's August 3rd. Batman. Okay, so this chapter I'm really excited to read because this is one of the main characters. And I'm just so excited to read it. So, the last chapter, Keegan and the other three, Keegan, Horace, Neve, they all four of them were in Terrence. I had to remember the names. They all drove to the woods because Keegan wanted to find out if this house was still up where supposedly a witch was. So they went there, and then scary bad things like just started to happen, and Keegan ended up like lighting the candles, and he didn't know at first like what had happened, but he heard his dad's voice say, "No, Dad," or "No, Keegan, don't do it." And so they all panicked, and these flying creatures were flying across the ceiling, and it scared all of them, so they got in the car and they just tore out of there. So then, now this is where I'm going to leave off. 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Sorry if the air conditioner is too loud. If it is, just say something, and then I will turn it down. Okay, so this is chapter 3. Right, Batman? Oh, he jumped out. Okay, chapter 3. Madison opened the fridge door and scanned each shelf, then grabbed an apple. She smiled. "Thank you, Mom." After grabbing a paper towel and placing it under the water and squeezing it, she wiped the apple off and noticed there were clear containers with cooked veggies inside. Her mouth watered. Mom must have prepared them for me. She opened the first one and saw the pea rice with chunks of chicken, something she always ate. The other separate containers had Italian cauliflower, broccoli, stir-fried corn, and chicken chowder. Wow, Mom cooked a lot. She closed the fridge door, took another bite from the apple, then walked into the living room. The blanket chest beside the TV stand had a blanket hanging over the edge that Dad used to sleep with when he was sick. The memories traced her mind, then faded. She sat on the couch and reached for the remote. It wasn't on the nightstand like always. It had to be inside it. She opened the drawer and moved batteries and pins out of the way. Once she found it, she closed the drawer and pressed the power button, then flipped through the channels. Where's all the channels that were on here? Mom must have got rid of them when I left for rehab weeks ago. Madison sighed and flipped the channel to a volleyball game. It reminded her of all the times she played in the 5th grade. Dad was always in the crowd, and of course Keegan was playing his stupid video games. As the year went on, Dad wasn't in the crowd as much. When she finished 5th grade and started 6th grade, that's when the cancer took over his body, and he wasn't there to cheer her on anymore. Not even Keegan's soccer or football games. On the shelf above the fireplace were trophies and pictures of all the games. A photo of her and Dad holding the big trophy was the last game he showed up to. Next to it was of Keegan standing in the soccer field next to Dad with the trophy. Good old times. The next channel had a woman running down a dark alleyway. A man with the mask had a knife in his hand. Only street lights gave her away through the darkness. The front door slammed open against the wall, startling Madison. Her heart skipped a beat. Keegan came to a stop with a pale look on his face, drenched in sweat. His eyes darted around the room, then hurried past the couch and up the staircase. What's his problem? She never saw him like that before. Keegan, what's wrong? He didn't look back or speak. He hurried up the staircase. The door slammed shut, and it grew quiet. Creepily quiet. The sound of nails against wood caught her attention, then the doorbell rang. She flinched, placed a hand to her chest. No more scary movies, at least at nighttime. She set the remote down, walked over to the door, and opened it. No one was there, just the street lights and dogs barking a few houses down. A black cat with white spots ran across the street and jumped behind a bush by a mailbox. She opened the screen door and stepped out, holding it open, looking for any movements or sounds of voices and feet. Something black slithered across the deck and over the doorframe. When she looked, it was gone. Her mind must be playing tricks. It was late, but first she needed to see why Keegan was so freaked out and scared. Hi, baby. Hi. After closing the door, she walked to the top of the stairs and turned the corner. Sometimes when Keegan was scared or having a nightmare, he can get violent and hurt someone accidentally. Keegan, are you okay? She waited for an answer and stopped by the door. Hey, what are you doing? Ugh, Batman. Trying to think, where was I? Oh, she waited for an answer and stopped by the door. For a moment, it was quiet. Too quiet. He was never quiet. That wasn't him. She leaned close and heard Keegan whispering. It sounded like he said, "Stay away." He repeated himself over and over. "Keegan," she said. He screamed. She grabbed the door handle and pushed it open. Darkness consumed the room. Heavy, thick blankets covered both his windows. Keegan rushed over to the far corner and made himself look small. "What are you doing?" She just remembered Keegan had slammed the door and examined it. "Stop slamming this door. It will fall off the hinges." "Mom already fixed it. I don't know how many times." She reached for the light switch and turned it on. It smelled like open beer cans and cigarette smoke. The evidence laid everywhere. Madison shook her head in disapproval. Crumbled clothes littered the floor. The bed wasn't made. His desk, full of textbooks and papers, looked messy. A soccer ball and a basketball sat in the corner of the room. Those were his first and his dad gave him. That his dad gave him. A shelf above his desk had other medals and trophies, including pictures of him when he was much younger, when he first started playing for soccer and baseball. "Oh no, Keegan, your room. Mom just cleaned it a few days ago. She shouldn't have to come in here and clean it for you. You're 17 years old. You need to clean it up, not Mom. She works too hard as it is." The smell was unbearable. She walked over to the window and pulled the blinds back, then unlocked the window and lifted it. "No!" Keegan screamed. Madison flinched, almost losing hold of the frame. He grabbed her wrists and squeezed tight. "Let go of my wrist, Keegan. You're hurting me." It brought back a memory of Jared, her ex, who always used to grab her by the wrist and not let go. "Keegan, let me go," she screamed. He pushed her to the bed, then slammed the window shut and locked it. "What is your problem? It smells in here, Keegan. How can you even breathe?" He pulled the blinds down and ran back over to sit in the corner, both knees to his chest. She stared down at her wrist and saw the red finger marks. "Great. Now that's going to be red and sore." She shook her head and looked at Keegan. "Are you happy now?" She pointed to the mark. Now what am I supposed to tell Mom?" A crawling sound came from the closet. The door popped open. Keegan screamed and jumped onto the bed. He covered his head with both hands. Madison stared at the closet door, then looked back at Keegan. "What is it?" She walked over to the door and reached for the handle. "No," he screamed. She turned and looked at him. "Would you stop screaming? What is the matter with you?" He shook his head as he removed his hands from his head. "What, Keegan?" Don't open the door." "Why not?" He just stared at her with desperation. They both made eye contact as the cold door handle pressed against her palm and slowly let it open. After pulling the chain and looking in, nothing was there to be afraid of. "See?" She stepped out of the way to let him see. "Nothing there." She pulled the chain and shut the door. "What is wrong? Why are you acting like this?" Keegan just stared at... Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. Okay. Keegan just stared at her with no words. "How much beer have you had?" She stood there and waited for an answer. He didn't speak. "I asked you a question. How much beer have you had tonight? 3, 4, 5? Mom's going to ask you when she gets home." No words came out of his mouth. It was like he was too scared to talk, or even make a small move. "Please clean up your room and get your homework done. Please. If you need help, just ask." Madison closed the door and walked down the hallway to her room. She stopped and looked at the shelf attached to the desk that had pictures of her and Dad at the games. Her first volleyball game her dad gave her, her first volleyball her dad gave to her was up there as well. Next to it was her first bat when she played softball in the 6th grade. She only went out for softball because her mom did in middle school. Madison clutched the pillow close and curled up in a ball under the covers, wanting to fall asleep. It was always better with Dad there. Dun dun dun. So I really got, when I first wrote Madison's character, her name was actually Allison, and my editor said that I think it's best if we change her name, because when she was actually editing the book, she was getting confused with Olivia and Allison. Like, both their names start with an A and an L. So I changed her name to Madison, and it was like really hard for me to do that because I knew her just as Allison, but my editor was right, so I named her Madison, and she does have some of my traits in her personality, and she does look after Keegan, and she had just gotten back from anger management because she has anger and depression. Like, for me, I have depression and anxiety, so I was like, well, maybe I could give her anxiety or depression and anger. So, because she was really close with her dad, and when you love somebody and you're really, really close with them and then they're gone, you do fall into a depression. She never had depression before, and she never had any anger problems until her dad died. So I think Madison is just holding in a lot of anger because her dad died, and she didn't know if she could have saved him in time. So I do get into more of her character throughout the book, but chapter 4 is from Inga's point of view, and that is a very, very short chapter. So, but then I think, so chapter 5 is Madison's point of view. So I'm just really excited to like get into this book because I had a lot of fun working on these characters and changing things up a little bit, and I'm just excited to get into more of her character. So the one scene where Keegan was in his room and freaking out, and she has Batman, stop. Batman, stop. Oh my gosh, he's biting my back. But anyways, Madison does look out for Keegan a lot, even when before her dad had passed. I mean, he was very stubborn. And a pain. So her dad kind of just like took over, but I think right after her dad had died, she tried to look out for him and tell him not to do these bad things and whatnot, and he started hanging around with the bad kids, and Madison wasn't any better, but she wasn't doing like drinking, smoking, like what Keegan was doing with his friends. So I do give a little bit of an insight on Madison. I didn't want to give like too much away because now that we're done with like chapter 3, tomorrow is the 4th. We still have all of this to read, this right here. So that's why, like, when I was writing each character in each chapter, I wasn't giving, like, everything away. So, I did have a lot of fun reading The Wish because we really got to know Olivia a lot. But Olivia does grow a lot more in this book. In this one, she is more aware of like the paranormal, whatever, which that's all I'm gonna say. So I'm just so excited to continue to read this. And chapter 4 is like 2 pages, 1 page, but I don't 2 pages. So I'm not gonna read chapter 5 with it because my plan was to like read like chapter 4 on August 4th and then chapter 5 on August 5th. So yes, we're going to continue to do that. So what was my favorite part? I think my favorite part about writing this chapter was that when Madison had came home and her brother was like freaking out and just being all weird, it was like really like confusing to her. She didn't really know what was going on, and she's been home for like a couple of days now because she just got back from anger management and a depression, a rehab, because it was really just taking a toll on her and she didn't want to be that way anymore. And so she was really confused, not understanding why Keegan was like acting like this. And then I just really wanted to show her emotions through that, and it was just, that's what I had to do when I first introduced her character to you guys, which I think the first couple of times I did do a lot of point of view from her. So I was just really excited to start working on her character, and she was fun to write throughout this whole entire book, and it was just so much fun. So that was chapter 3. I did get a new planner. I'm like, I need to get a planner for only live reading and coffee chats. So, this is my schedule. So tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I will be reading chapter 4. Or maybe I should read at 3. Or maybe I should just leave it at 4 because it's August 4th, chapter 4, 4 o'clock. I was actually going to do that, but then it wasn't going to work because on a Tuesday, I read chapter 2 on August 2nd, and I couldn't read it at 2 o'clock because I had farmer's market at 3, and I had to be downstairs at 2 to get set up. So, maybe after farmer's market is done, maybe I can do that for Wicked Curse, the 3rd book. So, okay, Wednesday, August 4th, I'll be reading chapter 4 at 4 o'clock. And then I have prayer meeting from 7 to 8. So then, I think I'm cleaning the church this Thursday, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't say on here. Oh, wait, never mind. Thursday, August 5th, I'll be reading chapter 5 at 8 in the morning because Thursdays I go up to Candy's. And I get off at 5, and then I have, like... Wait, how long is chapter 5? Isn't that the short one that I was saying? I think that's the short one. Let me look. Chapter 2. 3. Okay, where's 6? Chapter 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost 5 pages. Okay, never mind. Alright, so Thursday, August 5th, I'll be reading chapter 5 at 8 in the morning. Because I get off at 5 o'clock, and then I have my writers meeting at 6:45, and I just don't know if that's even going to be enough time. I mean, I do get off work at 4:30, but if it's busy, then I stay later. And then Friday, August the 6th, I'm cleaning the church at 5, and then I'm doing a live reading of Awakened Evil, chapter 6 at 6:45. Because on Fridays, that's my usual reading. And then on Saturday, August 7th, I'll be doing Farmer's Market from 8 to 12. And then I'll be doing a live reading, chapter 7 at 4 o'clock. Yeah. And then, of course, Monday, the 9th. Monday is actually my day off from doing anything, so I can just read that whenever. And then August 10th, Tuesday, August 10th, I will probably do chapter 10 at 7 o'clock because on Tuesdays, it doesn't take me that long to take stuff down, but I get really, like, dehydrated, and I'm hot and sweaty, and I feel sick to my stomach, and I ate a banana today after farmer's market, and I still just felt sick to my stomach. I didn't really eat a lot today because I was just busy doing other stuff. So basically, all I had today was just a salad and a banana. That was it. And I just ate pizza before I started doing this. So, anyways, that is this week's reading schedule. And I think what I'm going to do is take a break, maybe from coffee chats, because I'm just running out of ideas and I just don't know what to talk about. I don't want to do the same thing over and over, like talking about how my week went last time. So I think I just need to take a break from them. So hopefully I'll start doing the coffee chats again, I hope. So, because I do love doing them. I just need to plan ahead and just get things going. So, that is it for this week, or for today. And then, yeah, don't forget, August 4th, I'll be reading chapter 4 at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. So, yeah. So, thank you all for watching this reading. And I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter, getting to know Madison. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. So I hope you guys have a good evening and God bless. Bye. Batman, say bye.